Good morning and salam alaikum, grade 9, with you, Mr. Samir Awad. We are going today to the part 1 of chapter 2, lesson 4, which is chemical reactions. And at the beginning of this lesson, I want to illustrate more. We get before the properties of matter, and we get the mixtures, and we get the elements and compounds. And we knew the difference between the physical change and the chemical change slightly, but we are going to get in depth now in order to know more about that. Yeah, so what happened to the match when you start to scratch it like that? In this lesson, you will learn to recognize whether the burning match is a chemical change or a physical change. From the beginning for this, I want to ask you a question in the beginning. Whether you can get the match again as it was in the beginning? You ask yourself that question and you can answer if it's physical or chemical. So, in the beginning, what always happens during a chemical reaction or a chemical change? We get words such as burn, rot, rust, decompose, ferment, explode, and corrode, usually significant for the chemical change. For example, when you start to burn something, so you are going to burn like we get before in the sucrose. When you start to burn the sucrose, it changes from white solid with a tasty, you know, taste start or sweetie taste. It start to turn into black solid of carbon and water vapor, which is tasteless in the both. Yeah, and that's a change in this matter into another chemical composition. And rot, when you get a fruit or something like vegetable and it start to rot, that's even giving you explanation for what happened for that. It's getting rot, changing the taste of it and changing the chemical composition of it. Rust, for example, like you get the iron rusting when it start to react with the oxygen of the air directly or exposed for red and change into another matter also decompose, and that you can get it when the bacteria start to decompose something, or even your body start to digest the food and decompose into another nutrients. And ferment is a word talking about fermentation. It's like getting alcoholics from ants, or even start to get the yogurt from the milk. That's called fermentation too, and that's a changing the chemical composition and the taste over for the matters also explode when you start to get a grenade, the salt or the powder start to explode and burn, and that's also change. And corrode when you start to spill chemicals over something and start to corrode or get a part or even to crack it. That's called corrosion too. So the ability of this substance to undergo specific chemical change is called the chemical reaction or a chemical property too. So iron is able to combine with the oxygen of the air in order to rust. The ability to rust is a chemical property of the iron too. Chemical properties, guys, can be used to identify a substance, but chemical properties can be observed only when a substance undergoes a chemical change or a chemical reaction. Also, here you can see the charcoal. We are going to make a barbecue or something like that. When the charcoal is broken into smaller pieces, that's a physical change. It's still the same substance, nothing happened at all for it. But the substance present, yeah, before the change are the same substance present after the change, although the charcoal pieces are not larger anymore. On the other side, during the physical change, you have to know the composition of the matter never changes at all. During the chemical change, there is another thing happen. Yeah. So during the chemical change, the composition of matter always changes. It's another matter now. And also, when the charcoal here is heated and burned, chemical change occurs. Yeah, and the substance in the charcoal reacts with the oxygen in the air to form other substances. And there's a heat transfer here also. So here, a chemical change is also called the chemical reaction, and one or more substances change into one or more new substances during a chemical reaction. So, the substance that present at the start of the reaction is a reactant, or if there are more than one substance, we can call them reactants. And also a substance that produced in the chemical reaction is called by the end product, or if it's more than one substance, we can call them products. Yeah. In the burning of charcoal, carbon and oxygen are the main reactants in the start, and by the end of the reaction, carbon dioxide is the main product coming out. What is the always true of a chemical change that is never true of physical change? Yeah. What true we can get that during the chemical change, the composition of matter always changes during the physical change, and the composition of the matter never change in the physical change. That we have to know about. Recognizing chemical changes. How to know that chemical change happen exactly or take place in this part. We will get, guys, what are the four possible clues or keys that a chemical change has taken place in our work. Possible clues to the chemical change include the transfer of heat, like we get in the charcoal when you start to react or burn it with the oxygen in presence of oxygen. Change in color, that's what happened to, and the production of gas, that's what happened to, and formation of a precipitate, that's also what happened. So we have four clues here for us. Every chemical change involves an energy transfer. That will be here, for example, the energy stored in the natural gas is used to cook the food. And the heat released with the action of burning natural gas is giving you energy released here. That's a chemical reaction. So when the methane, which is in the chemical, the chemical composition of the natural gas reacts with the oxygen, the energy is given off or getting out to release in form of heat and light energy. Also, some of this energy is transferred and absorbed by the food in order to be cooked. So that's the burned gas. Every chemical change, guys, involves a transfer of energy. For example, energy stored in natural gas, we get it before, and also we can get more that the chemical reaction happen when the color of the food start to change, like you are cooking something, it start to change too. You can observe two other clues to chemical change while cleaning a bathtub. So ring of soap scum that can form in a bathtub, that is called example for a precipitate when you are adding that. So a precipitate is a solid form of substance that settled out of the liquid mixture. When I mix two liquids, it start to precipitate out. Also, guys, here, some bathrooms cleaners that you can use to remove soap scum start to bubble, and when you spray them on the scum, you will get the bubbles are produced because a gas is released during the chemical change that is taking place in the cleaner. And that's also the producing of gas. It's, like an evidence for a chemical reaction happen or take place. If you observe the clause here of chemical reaction, you cannot be certain that the chemical change has taken place. Gloomy be the result of a physical change too. Sometimes, for example, energy is always transferred when matters changes from state to another state. And bubbles form when you boil water or open the carbonated drink. That's a physical change too. So you have to make sure that the chemical composition change in order to say that's a chemical change. The only way to be sure that chemical change had occurred is to test the composition of the sample before and after the change. So if it's different between before and after, so it will be chemical change. But if it is the same, it will be a physical. That's a good example of production of gas when you get some of the antacid tablets and bottled in the water start to get a lot of bubbles here of gas getting out, and that's indication that a chemical reaction happened. When you start to get a test strip of that is called the litmus paper and bottled in a solution with a different pH, that start to change the color from blue into red, and that change, it means that a chemical reaction happened in this paper too. And also precipitate, when you add two liquids to each other, that start to make a new precipitate, which is a solid form. Like we said before about the soap, when you are going to make soap, that you have to get oil and you get caustic soda, and add the two solutions together, you will get a solid bar of soap by the end, and that's solidification is called precipitation. Yeah. So ask yourself a question: are the changes that happen to burning match chemical or physical change? How do you know? That's exactly you get it by the end, because you cannot get the match back, and the match substance start to change completely into another one with chemical composition, and that's a chemical change. And also we can say that we know that because when the matches start to burn, it's getting energy released out and also light, and that is a form or a clue that there is an action or chemical reaction happening here. So here the answer will be a burning match is undergoing a chemical change. There is a transfer of heat also, and the production of light, and the change of color too. The composition of the material also changes during the burning process. Next time, inshallah, we will get the second part with us, guys. Mr. Samir Awad was with you. If you please stay safe home and watch your personal lives in order to start to revise and get to your assignments. Thank you. Bye bye.